This is an odd chapter because it does look like that Kamo is securing himself as the big villain of the next stage in the series. Like he's pretty much been playing very, very, very farther predicted chess of everybody because you see like he's actually part of who put Megumi's sister in the hospital, like in that coma. So he's been working on things for a while. Like Akutami has really set up an Aizen for the series, and I think that's actually has been really cool because that's what people are giving him a little bit of like a nod at. Like they're not the same character, but it's just in that hyper all of a sudden chess move of just been like you guys have all been under my like entire scheme the whole time. And when Yuki is talking to him, originally she's like trying to have a conversation with Geto, not Kamo, who has taken over Geto's body. And like she's just trying to like say how like the best solution to all the problems is to get rid of cursed energy altogether. Because not only do they reveal like the general problems of it, but it seems that Japan is like the only one that has a like firm hold over all the like cursed energy because there don't seem to be a lot of sorcerers in other countries, but it seems like because of Tengen that's one of the key factors and why it's a little bit different in Japan. I don't know why that they don't just work on trying to make more of these barriers or just make that one bigger. Like work on a I mean, it would give a chance to at least have more sorcerers all around the world, but that at the same time could lead to more problems. They're in a really like rough spot, but Yuki has a good point. If you just get rid of cursed energy altogether, you would just have the normal world problems. You wouldn't have anything like the sorcerer stuff that could escalate everything way heavier. Because like imagine if you had way more people being like these living weapons. Everybody that has all these abilities is a living weapon and could be utilized by larger powers than just the sorcerers in the like Jujutsu Tech and all these other smaller factions within the series. That's why it's a good thing they keep it like a lot of this stuff is secret. But while he's talking, he actually wants to optimize it. He wants to build the best world for cursed energy. And I think that though it's the idea of eventually turning everyone into a sorcerer, really working at it at a much larger scale. He has a good point of what it could achieve, but at the same time, it's still really dangerous. It has a high risk of possibility, but he says that he's fully fine, like messing with like the dark and crazy chaos that could come of it. And he's made all these people that are like artificial sorcerers with like cursed objects and whatnot. And he says like one of them made it so they can use the abilities of their curses, while other ones are going to be vessels similar to what Yuji is. He's really just playing everybody this chapter. We don't even know what Sukuna's plans are. We don't even know what like the larger scale events are gonna follow this are. But Kamo has really like stolen this entire arc, and this has been a really hype arc. And just to see that it was all just building up for stuff like trapping Satoru Gojo and getting Mahito evolved so he can have his idol transfiguration power. And now like everybody is all worn out. Like they have Yuki there, and unless Yuta shows up, like they're still at a disadvantage because Kamo is he is 100% a game-changing character. Because not only is he really smart, but he's also got, the level of power behind it. And it's not going to surprise me if he starts pulling out, like, random cursed tools that have some broken effect. That, like, similar to what he's doing with the power of Geto's. And I can't remember exactly what Geto's power is called. I've said it so many times, it just never seems to stick in my head. But it's a really sick power. Like he's just this captured summoner, and now you have a very dangerous character with a very dangerous move, and he can use it like at an optimal way with his intelligence that make it so scary. So after that point, like you see, like clearly things are looking bad. It's not looking in their favor. He even teases the prison realm, and they're like, they want to try and get it because they want to get Satoru back. But when Choso was talking to Yuji, but not really talking to Yuji, talking specifically to Sukuna, and he's saying how it's about to happen, like the golden age of curse techniques, the world of Heian, that's about to happen again. I'm really curious to know how things from this are going to go forward, because this was what I wanted to happen. They mentioned the golden age of sorcery, and I really wanted them to lose at a point so we could kind of unleash the world back to the way it was back then, for the characters to climb the ladder. Because what Satoru wants is for the main characters all to get, like, the characters that he selected to get as strong as he is. Because he's mentioned people with the high enough potential, like Yuta, Megumi, Yuji, Toto and stuff. Like, any of these guys to get to his level of stature, so there can be more people like that to help the world and people, and keep things safe. And at the same time, so he doesn't have just the burden of having all of that on top of him. So that has to happen. So that has to get crazy enough for them to, be in a world that forces them to become that strong. And that's really what's been set up at the end of this chapter, and with Kamo's character. Because he's gonna have to keep progressing it, because he wants it to be the most optimal world for cursed energy. He wants to optimize it and perfect it. So he's going to essentially have to make it so widespread around the world that it just becomes, kind of like when you see like one of those old feudal Japanese animes, and it's like there's monsters everywhere. And it's a regular threat. People know about it, and you're going to have people scattered all over the world in order to fight them. So sorcery and cursed power and objects is going to have to progress in order to, to fight back. In order to, and just to survive. But it's because of stuff like that it will lead to like its greatest potential and probably its greatest standing in the world. It's really interesting when you think about it, and I like that Kamo is a villain that you can understand. He's definitely dangerous, and he's definitely crazy and very evil from what we know about his backstory, but it looks like he's trying to just make like a better world. I'm very curious to know, like, what his vision of what that's going to mean for him, or is he just trying to make in his mind the perfect world for, curses, cursed energy, sorcerers, and everything? Because he's still, like, a brand newish character, like, in terms of intent. And he's very mysterious over, like, what he's been doing and what he's been planning, at the large scale. I'm guessing that we'll see more of that as just the general next couple chapters progress. Maybe before he fully leaves, he'll give some comment about his power, about what he is planning for him, and where he sees this all heading. Or at least maybe some parts of his motivation, he'll say something to give us a little bit more about him. I don't know. Because it looks like he's about to just, leave on out of there. He's about to just go find something else to do. So we'll probably get a time skip after this as well. I wonder how many like months to years we could get, because this is a big enough event where you can have like a pretty sizable couple of year time skip and it really fit. So anyway, other than that though, comment below. Tell me your thoughts over this chapter. Like, it's really weird because the chapter itself was interesting, and like obviously he's talking about like all the stuff he's been prepping up, but the chapter really just comes down to talking about Kamo and what Kamo's done, and really where he visions things to go. It isn't as much of a chapter I can kind of go way too deeply over, because I'm way more hyped in this one thing than just like him giving every detail to like his setup. Like, that's still really hype, and all these other characters present, but all these other characters there are mostly just flabbergasted at really of what he's done and like really where he's going. The other thing is like Yuji healing from poison. I mean, that's something we know, like his whole thing with being a Sukuna thing, because Sukuna is like just a miasma coated guy, so him healing from poison, I guess, is really not that surprising. I think it's kind of neat though, because we know he was resistant to it, but like healing from it I think is, a bonus. So I'm curious to know like what exactly that's gonna like lead out to him, because I know in like curses having poison is seems to be like a very regular thing throughout just general series, like just poison as a power. So Yuji being immune to it and being able to heal from it is a pretty good advancement in his powers, on top of like where he's going strength wise. So I definitely want to see where this goes. Again, I fully believe we're about to get a time skip, like a pretty sizable time skip, but I could be wrong. Either way, they'll comment below, thumbs up the video, but friend the like button, subscribe button, and check out my other videos. Other than that, I appreciate everybody's hard subscribe. Thank you all for listening. Bye.